Panther people, what up? Could we have some big name players cut or traded before the season starts? I got some people who might surprise you. What's going on? You watch Panthers Post to Phil Perkins. Thanks for joining us. We are in the heart of the offseason right now. A line that Dave Canales talked about in his first month as the Carolina Panthers' new head coach, that he said the best part about him being in this situation right now, it's almost like a clean slate for him. He did adopt them, excuse me. He didn't draft any of them. He has no emotional connection to the current players on this squad. I didn't really believe that, but then when we saw what happened on the defensive side, the amount of players that left that I thought could be, Panthers for life, a la Frankie Louvu, Brian Burns, that, to him, these are just guys. He has no emotional attachment to these players like we do. And so it got me thinking, who else could not be long for a Carolina Panthers career and could be either cut or traded for draft picks or whatever to build more capital to continue this rebuild, which this is what we're in right now. We're not in win now mode. If it does happen, that's great. But who are some guys who I think would surprise me? I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm just saying if it happened, it would surprise me. But then I would think back to that day when Dave Canales said he's not emotionally attached to anybody. And, he's going to put his name, his stamp on the team. And if these people aren't part of that plan, they could be gone. So I'm going to start on the offense. And I'm going to maybe stick with the offense because, to be honest, everyone who's already left on the defense, or the people who would surprise me to leave on defense, are already gone. Brian Burns is gone. Frankie Louvu is gone. Jeremy Chin, that was a bit of a surprise. Well, not really, maybe with the amount of snaps that he played under Joe Evero. Dante Jackson, that's not really surprising me much. CJ Henderson doesn't really surprise me, but honestly, Frankie Louvu the most. I think it feels like Brian Burns. I think if you gave everybody truth serum, you kind of knew that his days in Carolina were numbered. The only one left on the defense that would shock me would be J.C. Horn. Obviously, that'd be absolutely wild if that happened. He would have to literally punch Dave Canales in the face and then, kick David Tepper in the nuts for him to actually get cut from the team. I just don't see it happening. So it's going to be on the offensive side because very few players actually left on the offensive side. And if you take a look at the depth chart or just the roster, the amount of wide receivers that they have on the team is a lot. Someone's got to go. So with that, let's start with the wide receiver room and a guy who would surprise me. I don't think it's going to happen because I believe in him. But if Terrace Marshall was gone, I don't think we'd actually be very surprised. But if the name of the game here is being surprised, if Jonathan Mingo were somehow packaged away, maybe after preseason, maybe he has a good preseason. And this is how it always is. This is how it works. Like, they have a great couple games in preseason. We feel good about it. We feel good at what he's been accomplishing thus far. And then he gets jettisoned to, let's say, the Green Bay Packers, who are, in the push for the NFC North to win that division and try to make it to the playoffs and do damage. I could see that happening just because you sell them high. And again, Dave Canales, not tied deep to any of these dudes. They got Xavier Leggett. They got some undrafted free agents as well that kind of meet the same kind of physical profile as Jonathan Mingo, that Coker guy who's 6 foot plus, runs great routes. Gosh, Canada. Steve Smith even shouted him out on his own podcast, and so there's going to be a lot of competition in the wide receiver room, and it would not surprise me at all if Terrace Marshall got cut. Absolutely not. It would surprise me a bit more because Jonathan Mingo, because I think as a rookie wide receiver, not everyone's going to be Garrett Wilson. And so I would still give this guy a little bit more time, especially with a head coach who used to play wide receiver and coach the wide receiver position. It would shock me a bit. But then again, going back to that day when he's not emotionally connected to anybody, it would make sense, especially if they can get like a late round pick for him. Another player that I think would be kind of shocking if he got left go was Brady Christensen. So if you saw the Blueprint episode 2, you see someone in the scouting room talk about how, guys who are weighing 301 pounds, which is a lot, playing tackle, just don't cut it anymore. So this guy's got to find his way on the offensive line somewhere. But we already understand that, the Panthers have built things up at the center position, at least Austin Corbett. If he's healthy, he's a leader. He's already been a leader, even when he was just playing right guard. He's going to be playing the center position. And then you got Robert Hunt, and then you got Jones. And then you got Icky, and then you got Taylor Moton. So while he's a depth piece and he's injured as well, I don't see him. I do see him staying with the team. But again, surprised. I'd be surprised if they let him go. But I could also see it happening because, again, as he does a good preseason, maybe he doesn't come in a little bit heavier. Maybe he doesn't really hack it if he's playing at center as a backup center potentially to Austin Corbett, and he's just kind of a liability there. I could see that happening as well. Again, he's a Matt Rule guy, and he is not a Dave Canales guy. He wasn't a Frank Reich guy, so he's like in his third head coach, and maybe they're just not into what he offers. And so Brady Christensen being a surprise cut or a trade, it would surprise me, but not that much. Another guy, and this would break my heart. This would break my heart if he actually did get cut, because I've been singing his praises since he got drafted out of Notre Dame. And yeah, that's Tommy Tremble. I would love to play beer pong with that guy. I'd play cornhole with that dude. I'd go on a road trip with him. But again, I wouldn't be surprised. This is the same thing with the wide receiver. I wouldn't be with the wide receivers. I wouldn't be surprised if Terrace Marshall got cut. I would be a little bit more surprised if Jonathan Mingo got cut or traded. I would not be surprised if Ian Thomas got let go, even though the Panthers social media doing whatever they gosh darn can to let us know that he's having nice connections with Bryce Young. I wouldn't be surprised if he got let go. I would be a little bit more surprised if Tommy Tremble got let go because, as we all understand, I've been saying this since I started this channel, tight ends just take a little bit longer to develop, just a little bit longer. And so if he left, even though I do feel like he is a great locker room guy, he's very much bro. He brings that bro culture to the Carolina Panthers, and he's physical off the line. I think he's had some pretty clutch catches in his short career with the Panthers and in his short time frame with Bryce Young as the quarterback with the team. But if he somehow, again, package maybe for a late round pick, or he's just not picking up the playbook that well, even though it does seem to be offensive player friendly, I could see him go. Now, I am filming this video as Canada is taking on Argentina in the Copa America tournament, a championship, a tournament that Canada has never played in. So it hurts me to say this, especially because the Edmonton Oilers are also in the Stanley Cup final. I could very well win it if they turn things around. But Chuba Hubbard somehow getting cut or released or traded, whatever. I don't really know too much about the contract stuff. You're probably yelling at me right now if I'm getting all this messed up. But the only reason I can see this guy get cut because if Jonathan Brooks is so in shape after the ACL and the team is absolutely convinced that he can start as a rookie and contribute right away, and all you need is a complimentary back, and that could be Sanders, who is still owed some money. Chuba hasn't really signed that second contract yet. And you got Raheem Blackshear, and then you could just basically pick up any running back off the street this day and age. So, and they have given some undrafted free agents some shots as well. It wouldn't surprise me if Chuba was let go, because he is almost like, at this point, yes, he's more of an NFL pro. He's a veteran compared to Jonathan Brooks, but the way Jonathan Brooks runs, he runs like an RB1. He was seen as a number one running back in this draft, and I could see him. And he's cheap. He's not due a contract. And so, at least a second contract, right? So, the way he runs, the way he carries himself, that's RB1. And I love Chuba Hubbard. I really do. This is, again, the word of the day is surprise. I'd be surprised if he was let go, but it seems like he does everything a little worse than Jonathan Brooks, and he doesn't scream to me RB1. And Miles Sanders is due a lot of money, and I could see it be a Miles Sanders, Jonathan Brooks, Raheem Blackshear, and an undrafted free agent. And I think they also picked up DJ Dallas. Was it DJ Dallas or was it Homer from the Seattle Seahawks? He also spent some time elsewhere. I could see that kind of being the running back room, and Chuba being, you could probably get something from Chuba, for Chuba, maybe a 5th or 6th round pick. I could see that happen. So let me know what you guys think. Who on the offensive side would surprise you if they were no longer with the Carolina Panthers? Let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share, talk about it. See you guys soon.